Okay, so Patanjali has two more practice suggestions for ways that we can put into practice techniques that will allow us to overcome these obstacles and their symptoms. Sutra 137 says, another way to purify the mind and regain your focus is to concentrate on someone who has already achieved the state of mind called yoga. This is, I think, most often seen as, for lack of a better term, guru worship. This is why we see pictures of gurus on altars. This is why people have such reverence for their teachers. And this stems from the tradition of yoga. When this was written thousands of years ago, the traditional lineages really place a strong emphasis on the teacher or the guru. What we have to be really careful with in our modern times is that there are very rare few people who are truly what you would call gurus. There are very few people in the world who truly have achieved the state of mind called yoga, have accessed these highest states of consciousness, and are in the world teaching these teachings from a pure place, who have done the work, who have done the practice, who have reached these highest states of consciousness and have ground to stand on and turn around and offer these teachings. There are many people who are very well studied and have practiced for a long time, but maybe don't have quite the same dedication to their personal practice, and so haven't really achieved, for lack of a better word, again, this state of mind called yoga. They've just studied the yoga. And so when Patanjali asks us to concentrate on someone who has already achieved the state of mind called yoga, this isn't necessarily saying, well, just focus on whoever it is that your teacher happens to be. It certainly isn't saying, well, just focus on Ashley and that will help you achieve the state of mind called yoga. This is more saying, concentrate on God, concentrate on Jesus, concentrate on one of the Hindu deities, concentrate on Moses, concentrate on someone who historically is revered. We might even say, concentrate on Gandhi, concentrate on Mother Teresa. These figures who maybe are a little more recent, but who really model and emulate the teachings of yoga in their purest way. If we can focus on them and call to them in our concentration practices and ask them for help, almost as if it's like the form of prayer, then that can help us find those same qualities in ourselves. So I think this is where in the West we get a little confused about the Hindu deities, because it's often labeled, Hinduism is often labeled as this religion that is not monotheistic. It's polytheistic. There are many different gods and goddesses, and in the West or in Western religious traditions, that's just not what we know. But the purpose of these deities are really that they are these avatars, these archetypes for particular qualities. They always stand for something. And so invoking the name of the deities or concentrating on these particular deities isn't just because they are someone who's achieved the state of mind called yoga. It's because they represent an archetype or a quality that we would like to cultivate in ourselves, that we're calling upon, that we need more of. So that might be we need more wisdom. That might be we need more strength. That might be we need more intelligence. We might need more compassion. We might need more creativity. There are deities and Hindu gods and goddesses that we can call upon that represent these different qualities. And so I think when Patanjali says this in Sutra 137, that's giving permission to utilize something like the deities, these archetypes, these avatars, these gods and goddesses, as a way to call upon something greater than ourselves that represents the qualities that we're hoping to cultivate in ourselves. Because ultimately, These qualities and these principles do not live outside of us. No one can hand us these things. We have to cultivate them ourselves through our own reserves, abilities, and strengths. And while we can always ask for help and receive help from others, that help is subtly working on us and through us from the inside out. But it might appear that we're externalizing that call for help by invoking the name of God or the name of Jesus Christ or the name of another teacher or figure who represents to us the values and the qualities that we're really hoping to cultivate in ourselves. So that's where this particular sutra and this practice of asking for help comes in. It's about looking to the figures in our life that are most inspirational to us and that are known to be models of the true teachings of yoga or whatever religion it is that you follow. And then Sutra 138 says, another way to purify the mind is to concentrate on the insight gained from a dream or from the experience of deep sleep. So now we're going in a totally different direction than what we were just talking about. But this one's a really interesting one, I think. And it speaks a little bit to what I was just talking about in the previous sutra, in that our dreams are this playing out of the subconscious and unconscious mind. The mind is at work while we're sleeping, just kind of rehashing things that need to get cleaned out. And then we have these dreams. And what Patanjali is saying here is not just necessarily wake up every morning and keep a dream journal and then, concentrate on what you were dreaming about last night, because sometimes our dreams go off the rails and are really weird. But when Patanjali is talking about concentrate on an insight gained from a dream or from the experience of deep sleep, what he's really asking us to do is look at those dreams that are really, really vivid, that we're never going to forget. There are some dreams that I've had that are so random, but they are also so imprinted in my mind, and I had them when I was like 5 or 10, and I still remember most of the details to this day. That is a dream that somewhere within that is a gold mine for me to consider, what's an insight that I can gain from this? And then in my concentration and meditation practice, I need to contemplate that particular insight. What is my unconscious mind trying to tell me? And the reason why I can relate this back to the previous sutra is because, again, that wisdom is coming from what seems like an externalized place, in that it's coming from this dream, but that insight is coming from you, from your unconscious mind. The vehicle is very strange and not linear at all, and probably doesn't make sense, but there is wisdom there to be gained from just really paying attention to what is going on in this crazy mind of ours. What have we stored in our unconscious? What can we grab hold of and contemplate further to really help us develop the wisdom, our own wisdom, that's going to help guide us through our journey and move us towards these higher states of consciousness. Our unconscious mind is trying to tell us something if we get these really vivid dreams, or if we get recurring dreams, the same thing happening over and over again. That's another key to sit back and think, like, what's the insight here that I can contemplate on a little bit in a meditation practice? And then you could also purify the mind by concentrating on the experience of deep sleep. And what I love about this is that the experience of deep sleep, your mind is off. There's not much going on. You're in total relaxation. What a wonderful thing to concentrate on. If you can imagine like the sensation in your body and in your mind of the experience of deep sleep, what you feel the moment that you wake up from a sleep that was just really, really good, take that into your meditation practice and focus on that particular sensation and see where that leads you. So the principles here that these two sutras relate to are receiving, our ability to receive help from our dreams or from figures that are really influential to us, teachers, from models, and also being able to receive insight and wisdom from ourself, because that's where these teachings are ultimately coming from. But also we have to have focus to be able to then take these insights and really focus on them through the practice of meditation. And contemplation or reflection allows us to refine these ideas and allow these ideas to then lead us down different roads through the practice of meditation. So all of these practice suggestions that we've reviewed, that Patanjali has given us in these previous sutras, are practice suggestions for how we can sit down and concentrate in meditation, or to prepare for something like meditation, to practice happiness, friendliness, joy, compassion, and indifference, to practice breathing as a preparatory practice for meditation, to practice reflecting on insights, asking for help, visualizing that inner light within us, or utilizing the senses as objects of concentration. So these are all very different ways that we can go about practicing meditation or practicing concentration and focus as ways to help us overcome our obstacles and release their symptoms. In this last video, we're going to talk a little bit more about the importance of Patanjali presenting this vast array of practice suggestions.